Campaigns have started in Rwanda for elections on the 4th of August. President Paul Kagame, who is running for a third term, has been in power for the last 17 years. He's also been widely recognized for restoring stability to the country after its 1994 genocide. Here's our report.
The ruling Rwanda Patriotic Front has launched a re-election campaign for its leader, President Paul Kagame, with rallies in Ruhanga, the heartland of his support base, and the capital city, Kigali. Kagame, who is running for a third term after Rwandans voted overwhelmingly to support changes to the constitution that will allow him extend his term in office until 2034, has been president since 2000, but effectively in control since his rebel force marched into Kigali in 1994 to end a genocide. He is widely admired for restoring stability to the East African nation and presiding over rapid economic growth and creating a relatively corruption-free government.
Are writing and saying that the elections in Rwanda are not important because it is already known who is going to win. Me, I am proud that the result is already known.
Kagame will run against the opposition Democratic Green Party's Frank Habineza, whose platform offers investing in agriculture, increasing salaries for the security forces, and ending political detentions. There's also an independent candidate, Philippe Paimana, but Kagame is widely expected to retain his seat. Despite being poor in resources, Rwanda is a rising star in Africa for donors and investors, and Kagame has been featured as a visionary leader and African icon. However, activists say development has come at the expense of civil liberties and media freedoms. Kagame is also accused by critics of being authoritarian and trampling on political freedoms as well. Some of his political opponents have been killed after they fled abroad, in cases that remain unsolved. But then the government denies any involvement. Gatete Yerimbabo, a blogger and political commentator in Rwanda, believes these allegations are baseless.
When you call someone a dictator, it's a very subjective thing. How do you define a dictator? Is there citizen participation in decision making in Rwanda? Yes, there is. Is there a community assessment of leaders? Yes, there is. Do you have independent judiciary? Do you have a parliament? Do you have institutions that work? Yes, there is.
Rights groups say the government and the ruling RPF have now become increasingly intolerant of dissent and criticism. The Democratic Green Party is the only registered opposition party in the country.
You're watching Africa 54, Vincent McCory in Washington. Now, American filmmaker Martin Scorsese is backing an international effort to preserve African movies in an effort to protect the work of some of Africa's most influential directors. Azuma Kampaure has more on that story.
Preserving the past for the future. That's the goal of the African Film Heritage Project. Restoring some of Africa's most important and influential movies. Academy Award-winning director Martin Scorsese is among those sponsoring the effort.
The idea of the World Cinema Foundation was to restore and make available, as best as possible, films made in areas that really don't have the infrastructure, the archival infrastructure, to take care of these films and take care of their cultural heritage.
Scorsese's Film Foundation is joining the Pan-African Federation of Filmmakers and UNESCO to safeguard the power of African culture. 50 films were selected for restoration by African directors, movies Scorsese says are a hidden part of the continent's history.
Those films were made by Africans, about Africans, for the world, and it's time to take that as another facet of the culture, the creative thinking, the creative action of the entire continent.
Director Yamani Desimier teaches filmmaking at New York University.
Many African films that were made in the previous century don't have the opportunity to be screened by filmmakers all over the world, be they African, Australian, or Bolivian. And it is with such initiatives that these films become part of the vernacular, of the international vernacular.
Scorsese told VOA that young filmmakers everywhere would benefit from taking a longer look at African cinema.
I think it's something that could be very fruitful for young people who are beginning to make their own films or are making their own films.
In the past 10 years, Scorsese's World Cinema Project has helped restore films from Egypt and Senegal, as well as from India, Armenia, Brazil, and the Philippines. Arzuma Compaore for VOA News, New York.
And that's our show for today. voaafrica.com. That is your one-stop shop for all of Africa's and the world's biggest news stories. I'm Vincent McCoy in Washington. Chamberlain has our show's last word from Lagos.
We look forward to bringing you another show next week. Don't forget to check out our website, channelcv.com, for news and other programming. It's all there for you online. I'm Chamberlain Uso. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.